Good morning, sir. I'm Yatsushan from Section 1 Group 2. Today I will present the assignment 2 with my group members, which are Chen Binghui, Shen Hui, and Han Shushen. First is the introduction to the case. Okay, let us look at the picture. In this picture, we have a situation that shows us Avita is working in a wooden factory, and she doesn't have any safety measures that should be taken by her. So this may cause her to get injuries. Because of this, we can know that Avita has violated the Occupational Safety and Health Act. So we have do some observations to identify the hazards that Avita has done, and we also have do risk assessment to analyze the level of severity and likelihood, and we also have give some suggestions to control the risks. Next is the hierarchy table. Okay, the work activity in the picture is cutting wood with saw blade, and they have 5 hazards that we have identified. First is not wearing eye protection with a risk of 12, and the suggestion to control the measurement is self-awareness from workers, wear eye protection when cutting. And the legal requirement that related is Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 in Section 24. Next is lack of wire with a risk of 12, and the suggestion for control the measurement is conscious about surrounding hazard and walk carefully. And the legal requirement that related is Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 in Section 24. Next is the not wearing earplug, which have a risk of 6, and the suggestion to control the measurement is wear earplugs, warning sign to remind the employee to wear earplugs, frequent monitoring, and audiometric testing. So the legal requirement that related is Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 Section 34 1C. Occupational Safety and Health Nurse Exposure Regulations 2019. Next is not wearing gloves with a risk of 4. So the suggestion for control the measurement is wear gloves, warning sign to remind the employee to wear gloves, frequent monitoring. The legal requirement that related is Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 Section 24 1C. The last hazard that we have identified is that is not protecting saw blades, and with a risk of 16, and the suggestions to control the measurement is proper training and information given by placing saw blade guard when cutting. So the legal requirement that related is Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 in Section 15. So the details of each hazard will be presented by my group members. So now I will pass the presentation to Han.
Good morning, alias. My name is Han Shoshen, and now I'm going to present more details about hazards. The first hazard is Arita is not wearing a safety gauges during wood cutting process. Risk assessment. The likelihood is given the level of 4 because these hazards are always performed by the workers and it is not an unusual hazard in the workplace, while the severity is given the level of 3 because this hazard will not cause to death but it will cause to a permanent disability. And the risk is in the medium risk, so this hazard is require a planned approach to control the hazard and need to apply a temporary measure if required. This hazard is against the law of Malaysia, which is the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 under Section 24, which is to wear or use at all times any protective equipment or clothing provided by the employer for the purpose of preventing risk to his safety and health. So as we can see in this figure, Arita is not wearing the gauges although it is provided. Risk control. So Arita should wear a pair of safety gauges or eye protection, so the soda or wood chip from the wood can be prevented to flow into her eyes. If not, the soda or wood chip will cause a serious danger to the sensitive area of eyes. For example, it can contribute to the extreme eye irritation and corneal abrasion, which has the risk to get blind. So this is an example of the safety gauges. The second hazard is Arita's leg is surrounded by wires. Risk assessment. In these cases, we have 2 risk assessment. The first one is it may have the chance to get the electrical shock if the voltage is very high and can cause to dive. And the level of severity is 5, likelihood is 5, level of risk is 25, which is in high risk. The second risk assessment is may cause Arita fall down if the wire is wrapped around her leg, and this may cause her suffer varying degrees of injury. And the level of severity is 3, likelihood is 4, level of risk is 12, which is in the medium risk. This hazard is related at is the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 Section 24. This related that every employee need to take a reasonable care for the safety of herself and of others person who may affected by his acts, and every employee should be careful of each action and follow all the safety measures to ensure their safety. Suggestions to control the risk. The first suggestion is to check working surrounding before start working. And the second is if found anything that may cause an accident, you need to take it away or keep it at the right place. And the last is be careful when feel stepping something. Be quickly to take an action such as to move the thing away and not to ignore it. That's all for me. I will pass it to Shen Hui.
Good day to Angel alias. I'm Urshan Hui and I'll be presenting on Hazard 3 and Hazard 4. The hazard found was Avida was not wearing earplug during the wood cutting process. The circular saw which she is operating on produces excessive noise approximately 88 decibels. The effects of someone who is not wearing earplugs and operating on a circular saw will produce noise-induced hearing loss, sleep disturbances, and stress. The risk assessment is as follows. Likelihood is 2, severity is 3, which gives a low risk of 6. According to OSHA Noise Exposure Regulations 2019, excessive noise cannot exceed 85 decibels. To solve this problem, personal protective equipment is used. However, Avita does not follow the regulations. She hangs the earplugs around her waist as shown in the figure. So the risk control is Avita must wear earplugs whenever operating on the circular saw. The employer must have warning sign, hearing protection zone at the operating station. Employer must monitor employees to follow the regulations. Employer must also have audiometric testing on employees to examine whether they have hearing impairment. For hazard 4, Avida was not wearing safety gloves during the wood cutting process. The circular saw would produce sharp splinters, wood chips, or broken saw teeth. The effects are the operator might have cuts on body parts, especially the hands, if the operator does not wear safety gloves. The risk assessment is as follows. Likelihood is 2, severity is 2, which gives a low risk of 4. According to OSHA 1994 Section 24, employees have the duty to wear PPE to prevent risks. And according to guidelines on OSHA in service sector, employees must wear gloves whenever the hazard causes cuts and gauntlets. The risk control is Avita must wear gloves when operating on the circular saw. Employer must have warning signs to remind the employee to wear gloves at the operating station. And the employer must monitor the employees to ensure they are following the regulations. So that is all from me. Thank you.
Good day, Dr. Alias. I am Zhang Minghui and I will presenting the hazard 5 and the conclusion. The hazard 5 is the avatar is cutting wood with the saw blade when guard is not protecting the saw blades. The X6 risk control is a saw blade guard. And the risk analysis is like 4 times 4 equal to 16. The likelihood times the severity equal to the risk. According to the laws of Malaysia Act 514, Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, OSHA in Section 15. The employers and the self-employed should provide the general information and give the training to the employees. So our suggestion control is to give the any relevant information or training to the avatar according to her position. So when avatar is cutting the wood with the saw blade, use the guards as a protector. Now I will explain the conclusion part. In conclusion, we know that the hazard identification, risk assessment, and risk control hierarchy. Inside of hierarchy, we can identify the hazard from the workplace using the OSHA as the guideline. And second, we can perform the risk assessment to determine the risk by first identifying the severity and likelihood. By multiplying the severity and likelihood, we can determine the risk. And thirdly is the risk control to prevent the hazard. We can make some suggestions to control the risks to prevent the hazards. In overall, the employee should obey the rules and the employers must monitor the employee. So everyone should obey the OSHA rule to protect the everyone and ensure everyone's safety and well-being. And this will prevent the accident from happening. That's all from us. Thank you.